Hello, everybody. Welcome back. Today we're looking at the Zentradi Heavy Artillery Battle Pod. This, of course, is coming to us from rpggamer.org. We will skip on down to our write up right away so we can get that out of the way before we start going through the stats that we have here. So, for Robotech, this combat pod is identical to the light artillery battle pod, except that it has heavy launchers and long range missiles. You can use medium missiles from the chart if you so choose to. But like the light artillery kin, the missile launcher's additional weight and awkwardness slows the maximum speed of the battle pod down by about half. Generally, one out of every 24 or 30 um, battle pods is a heavy artillery unit. Exact numbers vary with specific situations. The heavy missile launcher can fire any of the medium range missiles. Missile type is usually limited to the most destructive warheads. The missile pods are mounted on a pivot that can rotate 180 degrees, side to side, up and down, with a negative 2D to hit the pivot. All right, so bringing it into a Star Wars campaign. As Captain um, Levin Vance of the Macross Rebel Group took command of the Imperial super dimensional fortress. Many things happened all at once. On that fateful day, the rebels had gained his trust, uh, revealed their true colors, and took full control of the reconstructed alien starship. At the same time, it activated a deep booby trap program from an orbital sensor reading and fired the main gun into space. The distraction rather, was more than any of the rebel forces could have hoped for, and the coup d'état went off without a problem, resulting in very few casualties. On the same day, the alien race appeared, looking for the ship and ready to lay waste to anything that got in their way to lay claim to it. The creators of the vessel had left a failsafe in case they ever found it, a booby trap, and they fell for it completely. Unfortunately, this resulted in a conflict no one was prepared to fight, neither Imperial or Rebel. Seeing the enemy forces landing in the waters surrounding the Altair Island and closing in from the beaches into the city streets, Captain Vance gave his first orders to get the ship off the ground as newly reconstructed SDF Macross rose into the air. It was followed by missile plumes from the launched weapons of the heavy artillery battle pods. The forces of the Zentradi fleet would hound them across three-star systems, always biting at their heels with all their weapons at their disposal. These mobile artillery pieces had the longest reach as of yet. It's interesting as we hear some of the backstory of the original author's campaign using Robotech as a backdrop. It is an interesting campaign to say the least. I mean, to really just borrow heavily on the cartoon or the novelization or however you got into Robotech or Macross, um, to still share a very big similarity with that originally and then take it on into Star Wars. So, looking at the stats that we have here. So, this is at Starfighter scale, although for the Zentradi themselves, because they themselves are already at speeder scale, it would then go up. Um, it's technically a speeder scale, but the Zentradi are already giants, so it takes it up to Starfighter scale, is what I'm trying to get to. All right. So, it has a height of 62.7 feet or 19.1 meters. It weighs about 41 tons. Has a crew of one or four for the Zentradi or for a humanoid size creature, the standard galactic humanoid size creature that is. You could have four personnel inside. trying to control this. We have no extra consumables on board. The cost listed here, and I've had a couple people reach out and saying who exactly are they selling these to. Um, you know, Not knowing exactly how their campaign had gone, that's an interesting thing. It would be wonderful if somebody had recorded some of this. This would really make some good viewership. Um, I'm going to go out on a limb and say that they started to remanufacture some of these, and these would then be at a smaller scale for humans. That's my take on it. To reverse engineer everything, make it at a smaller scale so humans can then use it. But the original stats here are that of the scale for the Zentradi. All right, so we do have a cost of 90,000 brand new and 60,000 credits used. Does not have a hyperdrive. It does have a nav computer because these are able to fly out in space for short range travel. We do have a maneuverability of 2D. Now, for speed, we have a space speed of 4, an atmospheric speed, a flight speed of 800 kilometers an hour, a ground walking speed of 80 miles an hour, or roughly 128.7 kilometers an hour fully loaded, and 169.9 if all the missiles are used up, which, it's interesting that he put that in there, but typically I would just leave it as just that one movement speed. It makes things a little easier, and it's all pen and paper. But the fact that the author has gone through this is very notable. We do have a hull strength of 3D. There are no shields. We do have a body strength of 2D and an armor strength of 1D. Sensors, we do have a passive scan going out to 2 kilometers at a 0D bonus, an active scan going out to 4 kilometers at a 1D bonus, an active search going out to 6 kilometers at a 2D bonus, and a focus out to 300 meters at a 3D bonus. Okay, our standard equipment for these, we have a main engine. It's a thermal nuclear reactor type, putting out 1.3 GGV. So I don't know exactly what the GGV is. I know I've said that before. Radar, we have a radar that can go out to about 30 miles. Radio video communications, laser targeting system, combat computer, loudspeaker, night vision optics, heat and radiation shields, as well as an independent oxygen and circulatory system. So we do have two dual particle beam cannons. These are optionally fire linked. These are medium bore electron beam guns. Of course, it's going to be the crew of one. Fire control is 2D. Damage is 5D if fired separately, 6D if they're fire linked. And we can shoot once per attack roll. We have two missile launchers. These are the heavy launchers. Let's see, we have a fire control of 2D. We have a total of four missiles, two in each launcher. Let's see. We can either fire one in an attack or a volley of two. In our missile chart here, most of the missiles, as I've stated before, are, I believe, like a 7D damage, although there are some variations here. And with that, some of it varies for the length that the missiles can hit, um, how far out that they can actually reach. We do have two autocannons. These are fire linked optionally. These are small bore anti personnel cannons. We have a fire control of 2D. Let's see, we have a 2D damage for a short burst, 4D for a long burst, 8D for a full round burst. We have 960 rounds total with 480 rounds per gun. So we can shoot 6 rounds for a short burst. So if you're keeping track of all the ammo, you have 12 rounds being spent on a long burst and 24 rounds on a full burst. For hand-to-hand combat, we do have a kick which does 60 worth of damage, a body block, which does 60 worth of damage, a stomp of 4D, and that's it. Not as much of a story here for these in comparison to some of the other machines where we have all these different weapons and variations and so on and so forth. Seeing that this is a subvariant of our standard battle pod to begin with, it is kind of nice to note that there are differences in how they operate. So, with that being said, thank you so very much for stopping by. It's always wonderful having you here. Hope you're doing well, and I will see you in the next video.